Ah, wait. You heard it too, didn't you? That sound when the silence cracked open and someone defended you. Unexpected. Sharp. Like a blade through glass. It wasn't mercy. It wasn't kindness. It was chaos whispering. The rules just changed. The world tilted. And for the first time, the crowd stopped laughing. You see, defense is never clean. It's not a shield. It's an alarm. A signal that says you're not as disposable as they thought. One voice can silence an army of sneers. One move can flip the board upside down. In that moment, the game didn't just bend. It snapped in half. And suddenly your enemies feel it. That sick little twist in their stomach. That whisper of doubt they can't shake. The laughter dries up. Their smirks rot into fear. They're asking themselves questions they can't answer. Who's protecting you? Why now? What did they see in you that no one else dared to acknowledge? But let me tell you something. Loyalty isn't pretty. It isn't soft. It's a storm disguised as a handshake. No one defends you without reason. No one steps into the fire without knowing there's something dangerous standing beside them. You weren't saved. You were claimed. And that's far more terrifying. The defense wasn't about you. It was about what you represent. Power. Chaos. Rebellion. The person who stood for you wasn't shielding weakness. They were announcing war. A war they know you're capable of fighting. A war they want you to unleash. Because when someone defends you, they're daring the world to underestimate you one last time. So ask yourself, are you still the victim they wanted you to be? Or are you the storm they accidentally woke up? Because when someone stands for you, it isn't safety, it's permission to burn the whole board down. And tonight the board is already on fire. Games don't change slowly. They flip. No warning. No countdown. 1 second you're crawling, the next you're holding the detonator. That's what happened when someone defended you. The rules collapsed. The floor gave out. Suddenly the people who thought they had control, they're the ones scrambling in the dark. And you're laughing. Overnight the hierarchy broke. The ones who mocked you, they lost their script. Their insults no longer fit the stage. Their jokes turned stale in their throats. Because one act of defiance rewrote the entire performance. And yes, you became the unpredictable character no one accounted for. The wild card they can't cage. Listen closely. Power doesn't move like a snail. It explodes. It doesn't negotiate, it declares. In one night, your image morphed from background noise to a threat painted in neon. You became the glitch in their system. The error they can't debug. The question mark they can't erase. And it terrifies them. They thought they had time. Time to humiliate you. Time to erase you quietly. But when the game flips overnight, time is no longer their friend. It's your weapon. Every second now belongs to you. Every beat is your drum. Every move you make is chaos they can't predict. And chaos always wins. Overnight, you weren't helped, you were reborn. And your enemies, they became actors in your story. Puppets dangling on strings they never knew you held. That's the beauty of sudden change. It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't wait for applause. It simply crowns the one bold enough to stand unshaken in the fire. So now tell me, do you feel it pulsing under your skin? That shift, that hunger, that laugh waiting to escape your chest. Because overnight the rules aren't theirs anymore. They're yours. And once you own the rules, you decide who burns first. Protection, huh? Don't you dare confuse it with kindness. Shadows don't move for pity. They move for power. When someone defends you, it isn't charity. It's a transaction carved into the silence. A deal written in smoke and sharpened steel. Every move in the dark has a price. And you just became currency. Ask yourself, why now? Why he? The one who stood up for you didn't do it to soothe your wounds. They did it to stir your monsters. To remind you of the chaos you've been hiding. Shadows aren't guardians. They're brokers. They trade fear like gamblers trade cards. And tonight they bet on you. You think you're protected. Wrong. You're being tested. They want to see if you'll fold under pressure or erupt into something untamable. That's the cruel joke of alliances. They don't just shield you. They measure you. Every eye in the dark is watching, waiting, asking if you're worth the fire they just lit. And here's the truth no one admits. Shadows defend only what they fear will outgrow them. They sense danger in you. They see the seed of rebellion you've been choking down. That's why they move. Not to save you, but to accelerate you. To unleash the version of you that can't be silent. So learn this rule and carve it into your skull. Loyalty in the dark is never soft. It's razor sharp, blood wet and cold. You weren't shielded to be safe. You were shielded to be dangerous. Dangerous enough to unbalance the board. Dangerous enough to rip the chain off your own throat. And now the shadows whisper your name like it's a warning. Not because they own you, but because they just woke something inside you that will never go back to sleep. When someone defends you, the room changes temperature. The smirks vanish. The laughter curdles in their throats. Your enemies feel it first not as words but as a tremor under their skin. Doubt. That poisonous whisper that says maybe we push too far, and doubt spreads faster than fire. Their confidence fractures. They replay every insult, every shove, every sneer, and suddenly it doesn't feel so bulletproof. Because one person dared to stand beside you. One voice shattered their chorus of mockery. And if one dared, who's next? Fear doesn't need an army, it only needs a spark. And they just saw it ignite. Listen. Predators don't fear claws. They fear unexpected claws. They fear the prey that bites back. The prey that was never prey at all. That's what your enemies felt. The unraveling of the script they wrote for you. The scene flipped, and in that flip they saw something horrifying. You're not cornered, you're becoming unpredictable. And unpredictable is lethal. It's not the punch they can block, it's the silence before the punch they never see. It's not the knife in your hand, it's the smile on your lips that tells them you might already be 3 moves ahead. That's why their laughter dies. Because doubt tastes like blood in their mouths. They don't fear the defender. They fear what the defense revealed about you. That you're not weak, that you're not finished. That you're not alone. They felt it. Your rise. The kind of rise that turns bystanders into believers. And believers into soldiers. And once that shift begins, it never stops. So now your enemies are trapped in their own game. Should they press hard or retreat into silence? Either choice poisons them. Because once fear drips into their bloodstream, you already won. And the beauty is you didn't even have to swing yet. Loyalty, huh? People paint it in gold. They call it noble, selfless, pure, but the truth, it's a blade wrapped in silk. No one defends you out of innocence. No one stands beside you without calculating the fire they're stepping into. Loyalty isn't love. It's leverage. And if you don't see that, you're already lost. The one who defended you didn't do it for your tears. They did it for your chaos, for your potential, for the storm they sense inside you. Loyalty is never clean. It's a deal inked in smoke. They give you their shield, because in return they expect your claws. And that's not weakness, it's strategy. Think about it. Who risks their skin for nothing? No, not in this world. Every act of loyalty is a wager. They see value in you. Value your enemies were too blind to notice. And if someone is willing to defend you, it's because they believe you're worth the war that follows. That's the secret no one whispers out loud. Loyalty isn't about kindness. It's about survival. They attach themselves to strength before it detonates. They tether themselves to the shadow rising fastest. They don't just protect you, they position. They declare to the room, this one is dangerous enough to stand behind. So stop romanticizing it. Loyalty isn't a fairy tale, it's warfare. And you, my friend, just became the battlefield. When someone defends you, they're not shielding weakness. They're amplifying your threat. And the louder that threat becomes, the more others will gather in the smoke. Some to follow, some to exploit, all to witness. The question isn't whether loyalty is pure. The question is, will you wield it? Or will you choke on it? Because once they choose to defend you, the entire board shifts. And if you don't play it right, you're just another piece waiting to be broken. Defenses aren't walls, they're mirrors. When someone steps in front of you, they don't reflect your weakness. They reveal your shadow, the version of you the world secretly fears, the version you've buried under politeness. Hesitation chains, and suddenly everyone sees it. The mask slips, the storm breathes, the mirror laughs. Listen closely, they didn't defend you to protect you. They defended you to expose, to drag out the monster you tried to tame, to remind the world that you are not fragile. You are fractured, and fractured glass cuts sharper than steel. That whisper in the dark wasn't comfort, it was provocation. And oh, the beauty of it. The defender didn't shield your name. They echoed it. They carved it into the silence with fire. Every eye turned, every ear strained. And in that moment, you weren't hidden anymore. You were spotlighted. And nothing is more dangerous than someone who thrives in the chaos of being seen. The world hates mirrors like that. They hate when reflections don't fit their script. They want you small, silent, predictable. But one defense flips the glass. One defense shows them the nightmare crouched behind your smile. And once they've seen it, they can't unsee it. The fear lingers, the laughter dies. That's why defense is never about saving. It's about summoning. They didn't shield you from the fire. They lit it brighter. They didn't stop the whispers. They made them scream. They forced you to look at yourself and realize you were never the victim. You were the weapon waiting to be unsheathed. So hear it. The whisper slithering through your veins. It doesn't beg. It doesn't apologize. It laughs. And it tells you the truth. The world isn't terrified of losing you. It's terrified of meeting the real you. The greatest enemy isn't the crowd outside. It's the voice whispering inside your skull. That little parasite asking, why would anyone defend you? It crawls in silence. It poisons your victories. It makes you doubt every step you take, until you choke on hesitation. That's the real war, you against you. And isn't it funny? You could crush an army, but still get strangled by your own reflection. You could have claws sharp enough to tear steel, but still hesitate when your own mind laughs at you. That's the trick. That's the prison. Not the world, not the enemy. Your doubt. But listen carefully. When someone defended you, it wasn't just a shield, it was a slap to that inner voice. A brutal reminder that maybe, just maybe, you're far more than the lies you whisper to yourself. Doubt recoils when others believe in you, because if they see it, why don't you? Here's the secret: the inner enemy doesn't die. It lingers. It waits. It bites at your ankles when you're tired. But it can be starved. You starve it with action, with rebellion, with every move that says I am not small anymore. You don't silence it. You outgrow it, and once you learn that, the inner enemy becomes fuel. Every sneer it spits becomes gasoline. Every doubt becomes proof that you're edging closer to something unstoppable. You don't defeat the voice, you corrupt it. Twist it into your laughter. Make it your background music while you set the stage on fire. Because when you finally turn to that enemy within and smile, that's when you become untouchable. Not because you silence the voice, but because you learn to dance with it. And dancing with madness, that's how legends are born. Power isn't a possession, it's a virus. It spreads. It infects. The moment someone defended you, they didn't just stand for you, they injected fire straight into your veins. That spark travels. It mutates. It grows teeth, and suddenly you're not just standing taller, you're burning from the inside out. Do you feel it? That shift in your chest? That pulse that wasn't there before? It's not safety you feel, it's hunger. Hunger to prove them right. Hunger to prove your enemies wrong. Hunger to taste what it feels like to never bow again. That's the infection. That's the disease of strength. And once it starts, you can't put it back. You don't cure power. You don't bury it. It doesn't fade with time, it multiplies with action. Every step you take after being defended isn't ordinary, it's amplified. Every move is a signal. Every word is a declaration. You're no longer surviving. You're contaminating. Here's what they don't want you to know. Fire jumps from one body to another, from one rebel to a crowd. That's how revolutions begin. Not with speeches, not with orders, with sparks. And you just became a walking wildfire because someone dared to shield you once. And oh, your enemies feel it. The infection terrifies them. Because if your power spreads to others, if your fire lights even one more soul, the system collapses. Their control evaporates. They're not fighting you anymore, they're fighting an outbreak. A plague of chaos that never sleeps. So laugh, because the virus already escaped. It's you. It's alive. And it's too late to stop it now. One defense. That's all it takes. One spark, one act of defiance. And suddenly the air shifts. Rebellion is breathing. You can feel it, can't you? That electric weight pressing on your skin. The kind of energy that doesn't ask permission. It breaks doors. It claws its way into existence. And once it's born, it never sleeps again. Rebellion isn't loud at first. It's a whisper, a look, a question that infects the silence. If they can stand, why can't I? That's the danger, that's the disease. It spreads in secret until suddenly the walls are shaking and no one remembers when it began. All they know is it won't stop. And that's the beauty of the moment you were defended. It wasn't about shielding you. It was about declaring war without a trumpet. The first stone was already thrown, the first crack already carved in their fortress. And rebellions live in cracks. They thrive where the system pretends it's unbreakable. Make no mistake, rebellion isn't pretty. It isn't painted with banners and cheers. It's scarred, raw, jagged. It's born in betrayal, humiliation, hunger. And the second someone defended you, they turned your humiliation into a weapon. They sharpened your scars into daggers, and daggers cut deeper than crowns. Now the rebellion lives in you, in your veins, in your laugh, in your refusal to kneel again. It's no longer about survival. It's about domination. They thought they could bury you quietly, but instead they woke something too loud to kill, something too vicious to cage. And here's the truth they'll choke on forever. Rebellions don't die. They evolve. They multiply. And by the time your enemies realize what's happening, they're already standing in the fire you became. You weren't defended to be safe. You were defended to be dangerous. Let that sink in. They didn't step in front of you to shield weakness. They stepped in because they saw the storm you've been strangling. And storms aren't meant to be tamed. They're meant to rip the sky apart. But danger has a price. It always does. Being untamed means you don't get the comfort of walls. No soft hands. No gentle path. You live where the knives flash and the fire eats. And yet that's exactly where power is born. Not in the calm, but in the chaos that breaks it. When they defended you, they weren't handing you safety. They were handing you responsibility, a dare, a command carved in smoke. Prove them right. Carry the chaos, carry the rebellion, and if it consumes you, so be it. Better to burn as fire than rot as silence. Understand this. The untamed don't beg for respect. They seize it. They don't wait for applause. They tear it from the throats of doubters. And that's why you were defended. Because even shadows know. The world fears those who cannot be leashed. And you just slipped the chain. The price of being untamed is isolation. They'll call you reckless, ruthless, mad. But madness has teeth. And those teeth bite through cages, through orders, through every fragile illusion of control. They'll try to shame you back into silence. But silence can't bury a wildfire. Not anymore. So ask yourself, will you pay it? Will you embrace the cost of becoming uncontrollable? Because once you do, there's no going back. And that's the secret no one tells you. Being untamed doesn't make you free. It makes you inevitable.